watching. Welcome to a mobile edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. You know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective, and if you like all things true crime related from that police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. Hey guys, I just wanted to say a quick special thank you to you, the subscribers, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who positively engage in this community. You guys are what makes this a great place, and I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you for communicating and engaging with Ed Wallace and I here in the true crime community. The true crime arena spans everything from real toxic to everything in between. I think we try to keep a real happy medium of respect. We try to stick to the facts, and we give you the police perspective. And if that's what you like, please consider hitting that little red subscribe button. So hi to everybody joining, Yvette, Magical Mary, Paisley Dreams, all of the folks who are jumping on in. Again, I propose the question to you guys. How do you feel in regards to Bryan Kohberger about the People Investigative Reporters article, the People magazine? They were the first to break the Mad Greek former restaurant worker who stated that Bryan Kohberger came in there and ordered that vegan pizza. And now we have a message coming back from the owner who disputes. And she was very strong in the words that she used. And it was words like, the news and the media should really do their due diligence before reporting on a story that's completely fabricated. Now, this woman, I believe her last name was Fitcher or something like that. I'm not good with names, but I believe the owner or operator of the Mad Greek restaurant said that she won't be responding to any news or news outlets or inquiries in regards to this. But in the first line of the sentence that she put out, she stated that it was fabricated information. Now, here's the argument. Yeah, Fisher. I thought it was either Fitcher or Fisher, but here's the argument, Cindy, on this thing, and everybody that's joining. Hi, Ange. Good to see you. Oh, and thank you for becoming a member. Trish H., welcome to the DutyRon Silver. Thank you so much for becoming a member. So the verbiage and the wording was really strong. Completely fabricated information. This will be my only response. Now I'm actually reading the actual statement. This will be my only response to this story from the People magazine. It is not true. I want to know from you guys. Hi, Anika from South Africa. I want to know from you guys, what's your thoughts on this? Now, remember, I'm going to lower my radio because I'm waiting for my wife to come out of, she's shopping. So I got the front security detail at the shopping center. So I'm watching the front door. My wife is inside doing her thing. Mrs. DutyRon is shopping. So when she comes back out, we may get a little glimpse at Mrs. DutyRon. So I might do one of these when she comes in the car. For those of you who have been around when I do that, put a 1 in the chat. If you know my MO when it comes with Mrs. DutyRon and my shopping detail, if you've seen that before, put a 1. A couple of people, Franny, Boxing MMA, he's going to tell me don't get in trouble, Ron. But we'll get her on and we'll tell her to we'll tell her hi. We'll say hi to Mrs. DutyRon. But anyways, here's my thoughts on this. This again, I'm just trying to spitball with you guys. I'm just trying to, get everybody's opinion. Hi, Richella. Good to see you and Pete. Here's my thoughts on it. Okay, the story was out that many weeks ago. It was put out that Kohberger potentially could have come or was stalking one of the victims. I believe it was Kaylee, right? And it didn't specifically state that he was stalking her. Obviously, it said that she had a stalker, right? So, Dr. Ed, thank you so much for the super chat, Dr. Ed Moskowitz. That's our community doctor in Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you for giving us police perspective. Excellent, professional, persevering, and sticks to the truth. Listen, this live stream, I think that okay, let me just say this. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. And somehow I wound up getting a black and blue on my hand. I don't understand it. But anyways, I banged myself up at work, and I don't even know how I do this, but I got, I don't know if you guys could see, but I got a black and blue here. I just noticed it on the camera. So the Mad Greek former worker, right? The story was out. It was put out that he had visited that establishment, and I don't remember how that leaked out, but it was out there. So this former worker might have been a disgruntled employee, might have been someone who was not disgruntled, might be someone who's looking for 5 minutes of fame. Remember with Brian Laundrie, there was a TikToker, a blonde girl, a TikToker, who said that she picked him up hitchhiking and put him in the back of her car. I believe that story was shown to be embellished, that he never did get in the back of her car and was never hitchhiking in the Tetons. For those of you who are here that followed the Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito case, do you remember that TikToker? She blew up, like got tens of thousands of new followers and subscribers about that story about Brian Laundrie hitchhiking, and her and her fiance put him in the back of the car. It was shown that was a made-up, embellished story. It was never corroborated. Nobody ever was able to prove that actually happened. It makes me think, and this is me talking. This is not, I'm not saying this is what it is. And again, I'm going to get to the shooting in California. My heart breaks for the folks in the overnight. There was a shooting in California. So thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families on that. But again, I'm going to stick to the topic that we're on here. But I had plans to mention that. But thank you for mentioning it in the chat. But here's the thing. You know, again, I feel that there's a possibility that this People Magazine reporter, and don't forget, reporters from People Magazine and from the news, what is their job? Their job is to continually report on stories, right? So they're poking around and they're going around to people, and listen, they're going to call as many people as they can, and they need to fulfill their job requirements, and their producers push them to get out stories, right? So they are reaching out to anybody and everybody who will talk. But don't forget, they also get people who call them and say, I want to be on your show. I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you this. It's their job to vet those stories. Because you know how many people message me and call me and say, DutyRon, I want to be on your show, but I do a little bit of looking into what they're trying to do or what they're trying to get across, and it doesn't align with the things that I do. And if I can't verify what you're trying to tell me that you want to tell on my show, I do my best to not put those people on. Now, news companies like People Magazine and News Nation and ABC News and all the major networks, they're big, and they don't have time to sit and vet everything before you go with it and go out with it. And that's why you hear words like, we have not been able to verify completely. So now they're covering their ass by saying we've done some verification, but we weren't able to completely verify this story. But we're going to still put it out there. And as a matter of fact, Ashley Banfield from News Nation had the investigative reporter from People's Magazine, and she put that guy on and she was congratulating him. Ashley Banfield was like, hey, congratulations on getting this exclusive story from the former Mad Greek restaurant worker, right? But this is the news. This is what the news does, and you have to understand that. So there's a potential that this person, whether it was a guy or a girl, I don't care who it was a guy or a girl, doesn't matter to me. They could be looking for their 30 seconds of fame. They could be looking to just say to their friends, look, I spread this story. You could go to Facebook and Reddit and all of these social media spots and find tons of shitty posts that aren't true, that aren't real, right? So thank you, Dr. Ed and Julie. Thank you for educating. You really break it down for us. Much thanks. Thank you. So I think that there's more than a 50% chance that this story was embellished and made up. But then there's that other side of the coin where it might be true, right? But what's the upside to the Mad Greek owner saying that this story, and I'm reading the words, this story from People magazine is not true. Now, people will argue, oh, it's their business, and listen. The Mad Greek restaurant, the college students are the primary business for them, and people who live in the town, right? So for them to go and lie and say this is really not a true thing, that in fact it was a true thing that happened, and for the Mad Greek owner to say this is not true, what's the upside for that? What do you gain by that? Because your own business, the heartbeat of your business, are college students that are going to go and no matter what, go to your restaurant anyways, and locals. They're not relying on tourism for their and their reputation of refuting stories. So there's no upside to this Mad Greek owner putting out that statement and saying it's false, because it probably is false. Those are my thoughts, and it's the probability, and what are the chances, what is the percentage that this is the owner of this restaurant just trying to cover their reputation. I don't buy into that. The gag order, again, we are guessing. Everybody's guessing. And I want to go to that comment right here. Yvette, I believe it was. Who was it? It went by. Not having to pay a sanction for the gag order. No. So the gag order, right? The gag order is in part, and we don't know 100% why the gag order got amended, and then there's more stipulations to that gag order, meaning that attorneys for families and so forth can't speak. It could have been, there's talk in the YouTube and the social media social media forums that it's because the attorney in Pennsylvania was rubber gumming it, and Ed and I spoke about how we felt about the attorney in Pennsylvania that represented Labar, I think his name was, that represented Kohberger during his extradition hearing, rubber gumming it. I thought that was a bad look. I know our friend Pete Tragos said the same thing. He's talking, just giving too much commentary on the news, and I think the gag order was a result in part to that. And I think it's also the gag order is in part to to Kaylee's dad, Steve. His attorney was rubber gumming it all over the news as well. So Cindy, thank you so much for the super sticker. She says, "Hiya, how are you?" So I think that too, and also for the integrity of this trial moving forward in a prosecution. Kim Alliston, good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I think it was the judges and the prosecution and the defense, they all got together, but ultimately the judge makes this final decision. The judge is not swayed by anybody's wants or needs. The judge is looking for a fair and impartial, fair shake for both sides. They want to get the prosecutor to be given a fair shake, and the defense and the defendant. So the wheels of justice and the justice system, the judge is going to make those decisions, and based on her knowledge, she's going to say, hey, in the best interest of justice, I have to put duct tape over everybody's mouth, because too many people are rubber gumming. Loose lips sink ships, right? And this is a ship that you don't want to sink. You don't want to sink the wheels of justice. You don't want somebody to get off scot-free on a technicality because too many people are rubber gumming it. All right, so the employee, if in fact there was an ex-employee that was given this information, he or she, and I think it was a girl, I think it was a woman, he or she was not thinking about these 4 slain victims, these 4 murdered college students or their families, because if that person was thinking of them, they would have said, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. I should be telling this to an investigator, not to the whole world. I should be telling this to an investigator, not to get my 10 minutes of fame in a People magazine article. And the People magazine special investigative reporter, the guy with the beard, I forgot his name. If you got his name, put it down in the comments below. Let me know, or put it in the chat. He was being congratulated by Ashley Banfield, but the next time I saw Ashley Banfield talk, when this Twitter post came out from the Mad Greek owner disputing the People magazine report, all of a sudden Ashley Banfield walked it back. And she went on the air and made a statement. And I want you guys to hear it. I'm going to play it. Here it is. I'm going to play it. You guys let me know if you could hear it good. But I'm going to play it for you guys. And you could listen to the audio. Listen to what she has to say. And I found it really funny that she touched on it, but then the rest of her video, because it says, Mad Greek owner disputes Bryan Kohberger report on Banfield. But this 4-minute and 54-second video, I'll link it down below, she only talks about it for a minute or so. And then she goes on to talk about something different. So she grabs you with this title, right? But watch what she talks about.
I've got a late update here, late breaking update to the story that we brought you last night, where People magazine had said that they had found up.
Let me know if this volume is good by putting a 1 in the chat before I go any further. Was that volume okay right at this level?
Restaurant employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Idaho, who confirmed that Bryan Kohberger had been in that restaurant a couple of times, ordered a vegan pizza, had some strange requests, and that really gave us the nexus to the victims in the Idaho killings. But the woman who runs and owns the Mad Greek restaurant is pushing back, Jackie Fisher. She is saying the news media should really do their due diligence before running a story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to this story from People. It's not true. However, I will say this. People magazine talked to a former employee of the restaurant, and an investigator, a source of theirs, confirmed that it was true. So that's tricky, and we'll have to navigate through all of that. But I can't think of a better example.
That's all she spoke about it. 51 seconds. 52 seconds. Can you guys see that? 52 seconds is what she spent on it. Right? 52 seconds. I'll link that down below so you guys can watch it. If I was home in the studio, I'd play this for you, obviously. Right? 52 seconds she spent talking about, and her previous interview with that People magazine article guy, I have it in the hopper. I could play it, the audio for you, but it's too long, right? She was congratulating him. She was like, oh, congratulations on this exclusive video, this exclusive interview. But look at what she goes to.
Of the full saturation news coverage of sensational cases that keeps us all on the edge of our seats. But at the same time, possibly poisoning a jury pool. That can happen. Susan Constantine knows this well, because she's a jury consultant, she's a trial strategy expert, and not coincidentally, she's a human behavior expert. She's consulted on some of the biggest high-profile trials of our times, Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Jackson, among them. Susan, first let me just start off with the obvious question. Changing a venue is usually what you hear first, right? That's what
Okay, so the rest of this whole thing, after 52 seconds, has nothing to do with People magazine reporting on a story that the owner of that restaurant said was fake. They did not want to go there. They did not want to go there and talk about on this clip from Banfield News Nation says Mad Greek owner disputes Bryan Kohberger report. But it's only 52 seconds.
Here, late breaking update to the story that we brought you last night, where People magazine had said that they had found a restaurant employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Idaho who confirmed that Bryan Kohberger had been in that restaurant a couple of times, ordered a vegan pizza, had some strange requests. And that really gave us the nexus to the victims in the Idaho killings. But the woman who runs and owns the Mad Greek restaurant is pushing back, Jackie Fisher. She is saying the news media should really do their due diligence before running a story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to this story from People. It's not true. However, I will say this, People magazine talked to a former employee of the restaurant, and an investigator, a source of theirs, confirmed that it was true. So that's tricky, and we'll have to navigate through all of that.
52 seconds, and then that's it. So who verified that? Who verified it, and how did they verify it? Did they verify it by saying to the girl that they spoke with, or the guy, is this true? Or did they just go to the restaurant and say, did so-and-so work here at one time? Or call on the phone, hey, did so-and-so work here at one time? Oh, okay, our story is verified. I don't know. Who verified it? Their source verified it. So I don't buy into this, man. I think that this is just this is a way that the news, and I'm not singling out People magazine, but People also broke, if you guys remember, People magazine broke the text messaging on Instagram. So what are we to think? How well is People magazine vetting their freaking stories? Cindy is a local resident of the Moscow and the Pullman, Washington. You know, it's that 9-mile radius. So she's a resident, and she knows people. She knows people in that community. I'm sure she could speak strongly about Jackie and what her code of ethics are, and how good of a person she is, and how she is, how well her word is taken in that community. And I tend to see that there's no upside, right? There's no upside to Jackie, the owner of the Mad Greek, to now make a false statement by saying that never happened. That would just look even worse on her. So I feel that this People magazine article was not vetted properly, and it was somebody who was looking for, I want to be in on this Idaho 4, these murdered college students. I want my name to be attached to that story. And that, to me, is really sick. For me, if in fact that's true, and this is me talking, and I don't know how many people will agree with me or disagree with me, but if in fact that's the case, and I circle back to Brian Laundrie, where that girl, a blonde girl, I forgot her name, she was on TikTok, and she said, me and my boyfriend picked him up hitchhiking, and he wanted to give us $500 or $200 for a ride, somewhere along the Teton over there, and we put him in the back of our car. He could have killed us, and it turns out that wasn't even a true story. So there's hundreds, perhaps thousands, perhaps whatever. There's a large percentage of people who want attention. And they'll go to any lengths by calling the media and saying, I got a story for you. Oh boy, yeah, I dated Bryan Kohberger. You're going to be seeing those in this next 5 months. So how well are these stories vetted? And, I personally, I want to get your thoughts on it. I want to pull the chat right now. If you believe this People magazine article about the Mad Greek, put a 1 in the chat. If you disagree and you feel that it is an embellished and made up story just to get a story out, put a 2. I want to see how many 1s and 2s we have, just out of curiosity. I like to do this. I like to see. And if you're at it, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let's get it up over 1,000 on the thumbs up before we are done. There are some people who believe the story, and I don't. Listen, I like to hear both sides, and I respect both sides. But for me, I feel that this story that was put out by People Magazine is hogwash. That's how I feel. And if I'm wrong, if it comes to light that I'm wrong, then I will say I was wrong. But there's nothing wrong with you guys who believe it, but I personally don't believe it. I've investigated. Mountain Girl doesn't believe it. The Glare doesn't believe it. Internet does believe it. Heidi doesn't. Internet says yes. So I'm going to look at this and just get an idea of how we are all feeling. But for me, it's hogwash. I've interviewed and interrogated many, many people, right? And I've heard many stories. You know, again, as a content creator on YouTube, so many people send me messages on DutyRon.com and they ask me to tell their story, right? Or tell that they have something to contribute to a story that I'm covering. If I can't verify or vet what they're telling me, I err on the side of caution and I just don't put them on, or I don't speak about it. I've made a mistake with that once and only once on YouTube, and I'll never do it again. So you learn by your mistakes, and you have to vet everything that you talk about. Hey, Little Dove, good to see you. Iris Hewlett doesn't trust People Magazine. Iris Hewlett doesn't trust many people, but she definitely doesn't trust People Magazine, and I appreciate you for that. I think the Burger guy wanted to get a closer look at the victims. Listen, that whole story makes sense, right? That Kohberger wanted to see or get a close look at his victims, or develop some type of attachment to these victims as well. That the three girls and Ethan who he brutally murdered, right? But I'm just saying that story of him being out there was put out there, and I believe it was put out there by a close family member, that there's a potential for that he did come to that Mad Greek restaurant, and that gives people ideas. Like, wait, that story is out there circulating. Maybe I'll say that I saw him in there. You know, sometimes the sometimes people are easily swayed by actions that they see or stories that they read that are out there, and they say, well, how can I insert myself into it? And that happens. And I'm not saying that 100% is what happened here, but I feel that plays into this, a role into this, is what I have to say. Let me say hello to Joey Brooklyn, Matty Boy Sully, a whole bunch of good friends are coming in. Nikki Bella, Valerie says hogwash. Mountain Girl says 5 minutes of fame. I mean, I can't say that with 100% certainty, but certainly I could say that it is over 50%. I believe over 50% that is a 3 seconds of fame, 50, over 50%. I feel strongly that news, there is no good upside to the Mad Greek owner of the restaurant to totally shut that down. Because think about it, if he in fact did come there, and he did come in and order food, why say that he didn't, right? The judge didn't tell the Mad Greek restaurant owner, you can't say anything. You better shut this down, right? This is a former employee. Was it a disgruntled employee? Was it an employee that left on her own, his or her own? Or was it somebody who had an axe to grind with the Mad Greek? What do you think? I want to know what you think down below in the comment section. And if you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting the thumbs up. We have 360 thumbs up, 370 now. Let's see if we could get that thumbs up number to swell up a little bit. I greatly would appreciate that. Yeah, Cindy, who is a local, says they have no reason to lie. You know, you always have to look at what a motivation would be for someone to try to cover something up. As an owner of that establishment, that eating establishment, there's no upside to her refuting a story if the story in fact is true and verifiable. And don't think that the investigators, because in this comment that she made on Twitter, she talks about extra investigation for no reason. I don't think she said it exactly that way, but she says words to that effect, that you now have taken investigators, you've taken up some of their time to go and try to investigate this bogus story. Maybe someone can get me the exact words, but I wish I could pull up that tweet really quick. If somebody has the tweet, send it to me on Twitter, that actual tweet. Oh, okay, I think I have it right here. Never mind, I digress. I have it. All right, so here's the tweet. I'm going to read it. If I can get it to stop. Okay, here we go. All right, so it says, the news/media should do their due diligence before running with the story with completely fabricated information. This will be my only response to this story from People magazine. It is not true. This person who wants their 5 minutes of fame has now caused a whole bunch of extra work, okay, I was right, for myself and the investigators. I also have not forbidden my employees from speaking to reporters, but we all decided collectively to support the families and not to share anything that could potentially harm the investigation or cause the families more stress. Now, that's not the whole statement. It goes a little bit further, but that was the meat and potatoes of that statement. Basically, everything that I say over here is, let's support the victims and their families and support the wheels of justice. Let's get behind the investigators and the prosecution and the court system, who is taxed with providing justice. Whether that justice means a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict, that is what we'll see as this thing unfolds. But that statement in itself right there, if in fact that person worked there and saw Bryan Kohberger and was served, and he was served 2 times, what's the upside to the Mad Greek owner saying that that never happened? She would be contradicting that whole statement. She would be stopping the wheels from justice by lying and saying it never happened. And she would also be causing further investigation by saying that, by telling the investigators that it wasn't true, because now they'd have to investigate her. You follow what I'm saying? So it's a double whammy, and it makes no gosh darn sense. So, listen, again, if he was there and paid cash, it would be a cash sale. There would be no debit transaction. So he could have went in there and bought vegan pizzas or whatever the hell it's alleged. I think it was that vegan pizza, because I looked at their menu quickly about a week or two ago, and there was other items on there that aren't vegan. So, listen, I'm going to invite Cindy to come up with me, not today, but maybe in the future, and we'll talk about this Mad Greek restaurant. And if she cares to, or maybe she could talk to me, privately, and I'd like to get a little insight into it. But I'd also like to know where my wife is and why is it taking this long for her to come out from shopping. She usually texts me that she's online and ready to come out, but I haven't received that text yet. So, but I do want to find out more about the Mad Greek owner. I'd like to know a little bit more about her. So Cindy says, sure, whenever. All right, so hit me up on DutyRon.com, Cindy, and we'll work it out. Maybe I'll do like a short little segment if you want, and you can come on and we could talk a little bit about this setup and this establishment. Tabitha, thank you. Tilly, thank you for being here. She says, hey, Mrs. DutyRon is busy finding good stuff. She's trying to find a good deal. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have Cindy. I'm going to get in touch with her and we'll talk a little bit about it. But again, this live stream is not, I feel that there's more of a chance that this story is not true than it is true. That's my personal feelings on it. And I don't think that People magazine quite vetted it the right way. You need to really thoroughly vet the story. You need to know. Yeah, Schmitty says my wife knows my plan. She's probably watching on her phone. Um, People Magazine and any news agency that puts anybody on, it's their responsibility to make sure that that story is true. Because if you're reporting on something like this is a big deal. You're not just talking about a simple assault. This is a quadruple homicide. 4 people murdered, 4 people slain. This is not something to joke around with. This is not a video game. And I say this all the time. Richello, good to see you. I say this all the time. This isn't a video game. This is real life stuff. You know? Iris Hewlett says she's trying to get beautiful for you. Listen, my wife makes her own money. She spends her own money. She works full time. So God bless her. She can go in there and shop all she wants. I'm just saying, I don't want to drag the show past 30, 40 minutes. But we may have to do it until she comes out. So that being said, Phil Leo is here. I want to say hello to a couple people. Pineapple Slushy saying something about Bryan Kohberger. If he is vegan, if he's such a strict vegan, he'd only eat in a vegan-only restaurant. Yeah, they don't have just vegan food at this restaurant. They have vegan pizza. And I think that's, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the only kind of item that is catered strictly towards vegan. Yeah, and Angela Ang said it great. This is exactly the opposite of what Joey Brooklyn had last night. His wife, as soon as he went live from Brooklyn, she was like, wrap it up. All right, Joe, wrap it up. Wait a minute. He just started his live stream. How is he going to wrap it up? But yeah, it was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Last night I had a really good Saturday night laugh with Joey Brooklyn. So Phoebe, thank you so much for becoming a DutyRon Bronze member. We appreciate you. It was a lot of fun. It was. So Team Brittany, she's here in the chat. Always appreciate Team Brittany being here. Thanks for the truth, DutyRon. Oh, and by the way, wouldn't he inspect their pots and pans first? Right. Well, there's a whole twist in that article. The person that People Magazine, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that was interviewing, said that it stuck out. And I remember the news reporter, the investigator, People Magazine guy, he said, I waited on tables in college too, and people had some weird requests, right? He said that this, I believe it was a female. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it was a female that he interviewed. And Joseph Connor, good to see you. But he was saying, and I believe it was a female, that this girl that was a former waiter there said that he made that request about, does any meat products get cooked in with the pizza pan or something, or how they make the pizza. So this is stuff that's publicly out there. That you didn't need to be a worker at that restaurant to create this story, because the story was out. And even Banfield said it, that the story was out many weeks before this People Magazine exclusive former worker thing came out, that information was out there in the social media atmosphere for anybody to absorb, right? And listen, we have 5.5 months before June 26th. Wait, buckle your seatbelt. Buckle up, folks, because there's going to be a lot more jagaloonish bullshit like this that's going to come out. And the unfortunate part about this is that this hurts nothing. This hurts everything that has to do with justice. It hurts the families as well by creating false narratives. It hurts everything about this case. It's not a good thing. If you think that is cool, or if you're thinking about creating some story to put out there, you are, in my eyes, just like a common thug, a street thug, somebody who just has no concern or regard for these 4 decedents in this Idaho case. This is horrific behavior. This is beyond jagaloonish behavior. This is just thug 101. It's just nasty shit to do that. And anybody that partakes in it, I want to be in the complete furthest location. If whoever's doing it is here, I want to be as far away from them as possible, because it's disgusting behavior, you know. So again, I want to just let you guys know that we have an upcoming show on Tuesday night. We are going to have the CEO of MVAC. The CEO of MVAC is going to come on with Ed Wallace and I. His name is Jared. He's going to come on with us. No relation to Jared Lysek. He's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about the history of MVAC. And what's interesting about MVAC, and that's the vacuum that will vacuum up DNA from hard surfaces, soft surfaces. He is going to give us the 411 on the technology. And we're going to have him on Tuesday night with us. It's going to be unbelievable. You're not going to want to miss this live stream, because he is the CEO of MVAC Corporation, right? But guess what? His father, the creator of this MVAC machine that's being used for such a long, long time and can collect DNA from surfaces that get swabbed and you can't get a full user profile, this MVAC machine can extract 1,280% more DNA than a simple swab, a simple swabbing of DNA. It can collect 1,280% more DNA off a particular item than the regular way. And he's going to talk about this. But check this out. The creator of this MVAC vacuum system, his father, Jared's father, he went to the Idaho State University. He went to the not Idaho State, he went to the University of Idaho in Moscow. But he also got his PhD, where? Washington State University in Pullman. How much of a coincidence is that? He went to the University of Idaho. And then he went to Pullman to get his PhD in microbiology. How about that? That's unbelievable. Mrs. DutyRon is here. There she is. Mrs. DutyRon. She walked right past my car. She didn't even know I'm here. Hey, babe, I'm right here. She was looking for her car. She thought we were in her car.
Oh my God. I forgot what car
We're live on the air.
Don't you dare.
Wait, you want to say hi to everybody?
No, I don't.
Just for a minute. Everybody's been waiting for you. You let me know when you're ready.
You just keep talking.
All right, I'm just going to keep talking. She's getting ready. It's just a quick hello, and then we'll wrap it up, and we got to go. But this is, I mean, I think by a show of hands, how many people here have been waiting for this moment?
Yeah, okay, right. Tell me another one.
Don't you dare. Everyone's saying, don't you dare. But yeah, so the inventor of the MVAC, Jared's father, went to University of Idaho in Moscow, and then went to Washington State University in Pullman. How coincidental is the creator of this system that may possibly have been used in the collection of DNA that could possibly seal the deal and get the conviction on Bryan Kohberger, went to both places where the victims were killed, University of Idaho, and then studied at the Pullman campus. It's unbelievable. All right, everybody doesn't even want to hear me. They're like, stop talking. I want to see Mrs. DutyRon.
Yeah, I'm sure they said that.
Look. Here, I'll show you.
Well, I'm hungry, so make it quick.
All right, she's hungry. Make it quick. She's hungry. Make it quick. Wrap it up.
I'm hangry.
She's hangry. And she walked past the car because she thought.
I went right over to it.
I better beep the horn and say, hey, lady.
Okay, let's go.
All right, you want to say goodbye to everybody? She's hangry. All right, kids. So there you have it. Mrs. DutyRon, she's hangry. She didn't notice she was in my car. She thought we were in her car. Everybody's saying you're beautiful, gorgeous. Dawn Marie's laughing. Everybody's saying hello. Who here wants to see more of Mrs. DutyRon on Crime Time with DutyRon? Like occasional appearances like that. Who would be interested in that? Maddie Boy Sully is laughing. Laura Croft is saying you're gorgeous. Pretty smile. Me. Everybody. Angela wants to see you. Pete Pranzo says the best. Richella, I know his wife is, only if she wants to. Richella Pranzo. Janine. She said only if she wants to.
Only if I want to what?
I'm saying who wants to see more of you?
No,
and
stop with the more?
No, but Richella,
You're
she
lucky
stuck
I
up for
even-
you. Listen, she stuck up for you. She said only if she wants to. So.
That's a big no. No more camera on me.
Okay. As she laughs. This is how we stay married. Going on, what, 32 years, babe?
Yeah.
32 years, and we never had a fight.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Mrs. DutyRon. She definitely has sass. Yes, she does. But she's hangry. So we got to go and we're going to get some lunch. We're going to go get some lunch. So Agati says, DutyRon, forcing me no means no. Yes. I don't want to get in trouble. She is camera shy. Yeah, she doesn't like the camera. But she does it. She does it because she knows I want her to do it. So she does it for you guys. So we appreciate it. Listen, as I always like to say to you guys, make sure you like and subscribe. We will be on the air, me and Ed Wallace, Tuesday night, somewhere probably around 9 o'clock. It will be our next live stream. Little Dove says, feed the queen. Absolutely. I'm going to start the car. And we're going to start the car. Start the car. So I'm going to start the car and we're going to get out of here. I got to put my seatbelt on and all that stuff. But yes, thank you for joining this mobile live stream. Let me know what you think. Anika from South Africa says you're beautiful. Yeah, buckling up for safety. Let's get the likes up. And if you guys can, quickly on your way out now, there's 1,000 of us. There's no reason why there shouldn't be 1,000 thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys soon. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon. As I always like to end these things, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially these victims in Moscow, Idaho. We send their families strength, prayers, and positive vibes. And all the police, the prosecution, all of the people who are involved, the witnesses, the folks who are going to give testimony, sending them strength. I'll see you guys soon, Tuesday night. Peace and love from DutyRon.
I thought I had my glasses.
And Mrs. DutyRon. They got to be here. I thought
Oh,
I saw you
okay.
with them. All right. Say just audio. Say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I'll let you guys know if I'm still alive tomorrow. Peace from Crime Time with DutyRon and Mrs.